Like you, I've met a few sarcastic people in my time. And I also met a whole lot of people that would talk tongue in cheek and give you a little hint. Then they wink at you and smile, and you'd be like, you might not have got the thought then, but later on, when you're chilling out or driving home, you're like, man, I think there was a message in their conversation. Then you scratch your hair, you rub your chin, you're like, man, I wondered what that was about. And sometimes you get it that day, and sometimes you don't. Then when it happens, your mind goes back. I say your mind goes back. And you're like, man, that's what that person meant. Then you say, I wonder how come they didn't tell me then. Well, the other day, Donald Trump said a few things about Joe Biden. He mentioned that, yeah, I'll do the debate, but I'm demanding a drug test. Then he also talked about Biden's tic tac. I'm like, well, you know, the powers, the way they speak, a lot of them, they message. They got the clues, the codes, the colors, the confirmation, time, conclusion. But I'm like, this thing is a hint. I really think it's a hint. So I want to play these videos, and I want you to think about what Donald Trump is saying here. Check this out.
I don't want him coming in like the State of the Union. He was high as a kite. I said, is that Joe up there? A beautiful room?
You hear that? It was high as a kite. Okay, let's go back. Let's see where all this came from. High as a kite. I mean, what a statement. If you take it literal, you're saying that Commander-in-Chief is on something, right? I mean, let's just get straight with it, right? So here we go.
Presidential debates are just weeks away, and both candidates have their own sets of demands. Trump says he wants to do 4 debates. President Biden says, case closed, he only wants to do 2. President does not want a live audience. Maybe Biden's seen the polls. But Trump wants Biden, listen to this, to agree to a drug test.
I just want to debate this guy, but, you know, and I'm gonna demand a drug test too, by the way. I am. No, I really am. I don't want him coming in like the State of the Union. He was high as a kite.
Harris, at the State of the Union, people said, you know, he was at his best. He was full of energy.
That's what some people said.
So, man, Gematria, drug test. What's it come out to? If he's speaking in code, it's 33. And that would be Masonic. And then we got 48. April 8th. That was the day of the X. And X to me is the 24th letter of the alphabet, right? And, you know, you kind of speculated from here, but is he talking about the demise of Joe? Brought to us by the 33, allegedly? Do you think Joe could possibly be on something from the State of the Union? I mean, why would Trump say that? Let's go on.
I don't want him coming in like the State of the Union. He was high as a kite. I said, is that Joe up there? A beautiful room? And by the end of the evening, he's like, well, he was exhausted, right? Now, we're going to demand a drug test, but Fake Tapper and these people, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fair. I think they're going to be fair. And if they're not, you know, you have to deal with it, right? You have to deal with it. He's all about disinformation. Pilots come in, he said, I used to fly a plane. Truckers come in, I used to drive a truck. People come in from Minnesota. I used to live in Minnesota. Right? He is so full of this guy. Terrible.
One thing you can say about Trump, he is entertaining. And I think that's true. There have been plenty of times that Biden has said something. You'd be like, what did he just say? He did that? He was where? And it was fact-checked. It never happened.
And companies shrinking the size of their sticker bars, okay? Can you believe that? But you know, it's a funny thing. I don't know if you can see it out there. Does anybody have good eyes out there? Because this is, okay, so I just got this today. Somebody handed it to me. It's a weird, and not as a joke. I said, anybody have any Tic Tacs? And the guy said, yeah, I have one. Look at the size of that sucker. Can you see that, Pete? This is called Biden Tic Tacs. Can you see it, Tom? This costs more money than the one that was like 10 times bigger. This is inflation. Don't.
So, I mean, let's look that up. Biden Tic Tac. Bingo, 46. Is this all a hint? Biden Tic Tac. Go to this here, gematria. In the Hebrew, gematria is 366. And also when you scroll down, a satanic mark, 366. English, gematria, 666. When you look at this Tic Tac, you have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of the Tic Tac? It's for your breath. Now, Trump already said he was high as a kite. And then he's talking about a Tic Tac. If I am a betting man, I would say he's trying to give us a clue to check his biology, that there's something up with his breath. Why? I mean, no other president has ever said this before. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've never heard this before, but it stunned me. It shocked me.